The doors to the Viridian Tea House are open once more. Hello, everyone. Good to see you once more out there in the ether. Hello. Let's see, news. So this past Sunday, I worked at the Magic Makers Market at Ant Life Space in Denver, and wow, I think I've done 4 of them already, and each one, it just feels better and better and better. And this past Sunday was fantastic. I had some great conversations with customers and other vendors, sold a lot of tea, and I really had a good time. And much thanks to everyone who is involved with the Magic Makers Market. You guys put on a phenomenal event. And I've already been confirmed for the May event. So that's May the 7th, the usual time from 11 to 4. I think it's still at Ant Life Space. I'll need to confirm that. But as it gets closer, then I'll hopefully remember to put the information on the videos. But once again, to anyone who is a part of Magic Makers Market who is watching this video, thank you so much. I love the event. So glad to be a part of this group. Just love it. Let's see what else. Oh yes, April 30th, I will be a vendor at the Mountain Toad Spring Makers Market in Golden, Colorado. Yay, Golden! Many thanks to my friend Sarah at Macarons and Muttons for telling me about the event. It's a one-day event, and again, not this video, but the next video, I'll start putting information about the event. So looking forward to that. This is a brand new event for me, and I'm truly excited. Let's see, I think that's all I have. Oh, there's a new tea blend that is coming out later this week, and I will feature it on the next Viridian Tea House. One hint, mathematics. That's all I'm going to say. So stay tuned, and I hope I did really well with the tea blend. I haven't tried it yet. All right, so without further ado, I am so excited. I've had a wonderful walk around the lake behind our house today, and it's a beautiful spring day here in the Mile High City, and I'm just happy. I'm happy to be reviewing books, talking about tea, and honey given to me by a lovely witch and Reiki master. We'll talk about that later. All right, so for the book portion, so this one book, and as always, give a massive shout out to Arapahoe Library District. Y'all have the best, one of the best library collections I've ever seen. I am just, I am always amazed at what I can find in the catalog. So thank you guys so much. Just thank you. So this particular book I just saw at my local library, Sheridan, and I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. And wow, this kind of blew my mind. This is American Wildflowers, a literary field guide edited by Susan Barbara and illustrated by Leanne Shapton, sorry. What is this exactly? Well, this is a great guide for wildflowers in the United States, but from a literary perspective. So in this book, there are short stories, essays, poems, you name it, about different wildflowers, plus wonderful watercolor images of the wildflowers themselves. And I marked a couple of pieces that I wanted to read to you guys. So, oh, this is the inside cover. So you can kind of get an idea of the watercolor paintings. And if I remember correctly, I read a little interview of the illustrator, and she said that she wanted to present the wildflowers as though they had been pressed in books. And I thought, that's a really cool concept. I really like that. So let's see. So the first one is part of the periwinkle family, and this is for, I think this is for milkweed. And this is the poem, What Woman by Deborah Diggs. And before I read it, here's the picture of milkweed, the illustrated. Isn't that just gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. So here's the poem. What woman talks to weeds? Who walks the gardens like a jailer? It's nearly fall. The few flowers, summer-ridden, want only to die back, go home. the earth flat as a grave, the snow stalked windless. Fields, light are the dead and careless. Their thistle, milkweed, goldenrod, crushed under boot or in my glove, smelled almost of days, the hard walks across that which would not lie down. Such bitter walks, such bitter sadness. A widow talks to weeds, whose feet I knelt before and wept last spring. Oh, anything grown green, and picked fistfuls of dandelions. This side the veil the great betrayers, and spent my purse on seeds, too early sown, too early planted, dead by June. And then the feast, armfuls of light, the season first and wildly blossoming. What was it for? A cemetery lot mindless of absence, as wretched as it's glorious. So hopefully you kind of get the idea. I mean, you've got the watercolor illustration, and then and they're collected by the different wildflowers. So it's just an incredible read, incredible idea. So this one is for dandelions, and this is by Emily Dickinson. The dandelion's pallid tube astonishes the grass, and winter instantly becomes an infinite alas. The tube uplifts a signal bud, and then a shouting flower, the proclamation of the suns that sepulture is o'er. Another good one. Let's see, what's another one? Okay, this is W.S. Merwin, the rose beetle, dealing with hibiscus, and here is the accompanying watercolor picture. If it's a little bit dark in here, I do apologize, but hopefully you can get a good idea of that. So this is by W.S. Merwin, the rose beetle. It is said that you came from China, but you never saw China. You eat the leaves here. Your ancestors traveled blind in eggs. You arrived just after dark from underground, with a clicking whir in the first night, knowing by the smell what leaves to eat here, where you have wakened for the first time. The strawberry leaves foreign as you, the beans, the orchid tree, the eggplant, the old leaves of the heliconia, the banana, some palms, and the roses from everywhere but here, and the hibiscus from here, the abutilons, excuse me, my apologies, the abutilons, the royal elema. In the night you turn them into lace, into an arid net, into sky, like the sky long ago over China. My apologies for stumbling over that word. I don't have my glasses on. Okay, and the final one, yeah, that's a good one. This is by Alice Dunbar Nelson, titled Violets. And here's the accompanying violet watercolor. Absolutely stunning. Okay, Violets by Alice Dunbar Nelson. I had no thought of violets of late, the wild, shy kind that spring beneath your feet in wistful April days, when lovers mate and wander through the fields in rapture sweet. The thought of violets meant florist shops, and bows and pins, and perfume papers fine, and garish lights, and mincing little fops, and cabarets and songs and deadening wine. So far from sweet real things my thought had strayed, I had forgot wild fields and clear brown streams, the perfect loveliness that God has made. Wild violets shy and heaven-mounting dreams. And now, unwittingly, you've made me dream of violets and my soul's forgotten gleam. So hopefully that's a nice little taste of American Wildflowers, a literary field guide for you. This is a perfect book for someone who has a green thumb, someone who wants to learn more about the world that they live in, someone who is into botany, and someone who just enjoys a good read filled with poetry and short stories and essays that deal with nature. So for American Wildflowers, a literary field guide, it receives Viridian Tea House's 5 pots of delicious herbal tisane. Thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful read. And you know, I'll admit I slowed down and took my time to read some of these pieces and to really stare and focus on the watercolors. And afterward, I mockingly yelled at my boyfriend, "Don't touch the dandelions! Don't touch them! Don't get rid of them! They're too beautiful." But yes, this will make you appreciate the wildflowers that I think people kind of take for granted sometimes. Like around the lake that's near our house, there's all these different wildflowers like dandelions and other flowers I don't even know. And I find myself staring at them just saying, how many people actually appreciate your beauty? And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So yes, American Wildflowers, a literary field guide, truly an insightful, incredible, and beautiful and quiet read. Thank you so much for creating this book. Thank you. So the next book, I could not stop raving about it, and I said this was one of my top 5 all-time favorite books. I picked this book up through I was working at the Denver Public Library pop-up book sale, and I saw it and I thumbed through it and I thought, okay, this sounds interesting. And then I read it and I thought, my God, this is absolutely beautiful and haunting and tragic and hopeful and wonderful and imaginative. And before I go any further, it is The Pages by Hugo Hamilton. I'll just read the dust jacket for you. Let's see. A gripping, page-turning, formally inventive novel in which a book, a 1924 edition of Joseph Roth's masterpiece Rebellion, narrates its own astonishing life story. An old copy of the novel Rebellion sits in Lena Knecht's tote bag, about to accompany her on a journey from New York to Berlin in search of a clue to the hand-drawn map on its last page. It is the brilliantly captivating voice of this novel, a first edition nearly burned by Nazis in May 1933, that's our narrator. Fast-paced and tightly plotted, The Pages brings together a multitude of dazzling characters, real and invented, in a sweeping story of survival, chance, and the joys and struggles of love. At the center are Joseph Roth, an Austrian Jewish author on the run, and his wife, Friederike, who falls victim to mental illness as Europe descends into war. With vivid evocations of Germany under Nazism and today, The Pages dramatically illuminates the connections between past and present as it looks at censorship, oppression, and violence. Here is a propulsive, inspiring tale of literature over 100 years. A novel for book lovers everywhere that will bring a fresh audience to this acclaimed writer. I'm already a believer in Hugo Hamilton's work, and I think I've marked all of his books, essays, what have you, as I want to read them. I wasn't really sure how this was going to play itself out as the book being the narrator, and yet it works, because not only does the book talk about his present situation with Lena and meeting and losing the book and then gaining it again and then gaining a friend and soon a lover because of the book, but also talking about Joseph Roth and his marital situation to a woman who has to be institutionalized, and about Germany then, Germany now, and just the power that words have. It's amazing how people they're put under a spell with a book. Like for me, whenever I read a book, I sometimes I can hear the narrator and I fall in love with the words and I fall in love with the story. And hearing the narrator, which was the book, I kind of heard a male German voice. And it wasn't harsh or demanding. It was very soft. It was as though I met the book up at a cafe, and the book just told me about its life. And it was a little bit of magic, like I said, some tragedy and hope, but just overall a beautiful, beautiful story told from the book itself. And if you are into that kind of style of literature, you cannot go wrong with The Pages. This was just phenomenal. And this is one of those books where I would like to buy a copy for everybody that I know who's a bookworm like me and just say, don't ask me what the book is about, just read it. And I wonder how many people will fall under its spell as well. In fact, you know what? Let's see. I'm just going to read a little bit. I'm going to read just a little bit of the first chapter. Here I am, stored inside a piece of hand luggage, being carried through the departure lounge at JFK Airport. The owner of the bag is a young woman by the name of Lena. She's getting on a flight to Europe, bringing me home, so to speak, back to Berlin, the city in which I was written, where I was first printed by a small publishing house almost 100 years ago in 1924, where I was rescued from the fire on the night of the book burning in May 1933, the city from which my author fled the day Hitler came to power. My homeless author, my restless refugee, itinerant, stateless writer on the run, living out of a suitcase, fleeing for his life. His name, Joseph Roth. The title, Rebellion. I was born. I came to life between the wars. During the Weimar Republic, what they called the waiting room between the First World War and the Second World War. Between what was first thought to be the fields of honor and later became the fields of shame. A time of orphans and child poverty. Women running the cities while men were left behind on the battlefield. Defeated men who came back missing limbs and needed help to bring beer to their lips. Men with nightmares of decomposing hands emerging from the trenches. Cold winters they called God's fist sweeping across from the east. And hunger and the blank expression of a tram conductor munching on a box of chocolates left behind by a passenger after the cinema. A time of hardship and glamour, a time of revolution, emancipation, cabaret, love and art without rules. I love discovering books that are quietly thought-provoking and unsettling and delicious and delirious with hope and characters that you feel like you've known all your life or you want to get to know them better. The Pages, like I said, it's now one of the top 5 of my all-time favorite books. If you were looking for a different kind of novel to read, one without hoopla and all of that, but just a well-written story with a narrator that is kind of predictable, The Pages. It was what a wonderful read. It really was a wonderful read. So I'm grateful that this book found its way into my life. And Joseph Roth actually did exist. I looked that up. So yeah, that kind of made it a little bit better. All right, so getting to the tea portion. Today's tea comes from the wonderful company of Viridian Tea Company. That's me. And this tea I've actually had for a while. This is one of my Herbal Tisanes, but I recently got it back in stock. Yay! And this is the Quiet Journey of Tea. And this isn't, like I said, Herbal Tisane. The ingredients are chamomile, passion flower, orange peel, lemon balm, and skullcap. And the story, I always tell my customers, there's a story behind all of my tea blends. Well, with the Quiet Journey of Tea, the story is I've been meditating for years, and I wanted to create a tea that would be good to consume after meditating, before meditating, even during meditation. And so I put together ingredients that would help with calming your mind, calming the world around you, and also tasted quite good. I did do a little bit of research regarding skullcap because I mean everybody knows, chamomile, passion flower, lemon balm, very calming, very soothing. Orange peel, I just love the taste of orange peel. But with skullcap, so I got some information, and much thanks to Monterey Bay Herb Company, I've been using them for years. They are one of my sources for some of my ingredients. So for those of you who are interested to know, well, what's so great about skullcap, so skullcap is part of the mint family. I actually did not know that, but now that kind of makes sense with how it tastes. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. It is a wetland loving species, which means it thrives in moist habitats. It is also, for the benefits, it can help you with anxiety or depression. It calms you down, calms your mind, and it has a calming and peaceful aroma, which, yeah, it really does. And commingled with the chamomile, orange peel, and lemon balm, it's quite a lovely bouquet. And it also has antioxidant effects that possibly helps with neurological disorders as well. So all around, if you find yourself drinking a tea that has skullcap in it, it's going to do your body kind of good. So cheers to the skullcap. Many cheers. So I brewed a cup and I let it steep for about 7 minutes. And then I also added, remember when I was talking about dandelion honey and witches and Reiki teachers? So a lovely vendor that I met at the recent Magic Makers Market gave me a jar of dandelion honey syrup, if you can see it. That's what it looks like. So I tasted a little bit while my tea was steeping, and oh my gosh, there's honey and then there's this. This sent me over the moon. It had a sweet, earthy taste to it. The sweetness wasn't like, oh dear God, it's just too much. It was quite nice, and I could taste the dandelions in it. That earthy green thumb, you've been in your garden for a while and you see a bunch of dandelions and you don't want to rip them from the ground, so you leave them there and you kind of caress the yellow top heads. That's what I got from taking a little sample of this. So I added it to my tea, in my Rue de la Course tea. I love you guys. I miss you guys so much. If you find yourself in New Orleans anytime soon, go to Rue de la Course Coffee House. They have the best almond croissants. They're on Oak Street, and they're not too far from Blue Cypress Books too. Okay, shameless promotion over. So this is the quiet journey of tea flavored with dandelion honey syrup. Here we go. This is the kind of tea that actually I should have had while reading American Wildflowers, including the honey. That was a lovely bouquet in my mouth. Absolutely wonderful. And the dandelion honey syrup didn't take anything away from any of the ingredients of the herbal tisane. In fact, it enhanced it. And little side note, sometimes I've told my customers, they've wanted to know, should I put sugar in this? I'm trying to get away from sugar. Personally, if I want just a little bit of sweetness, okay, sometimes I'll do sugar, but very little. But more often than not, I will put honey because it actually enhances the flavor of the tea. And this dandelion honey syrup really works wonders with this tea. Quiet journey. Oh, quiet indeed. If I'll shut up and just, yeah, you know what I mean. That's absolutely wonderful. That is a great tisane to have while pouring through gardening books, or you're sitting outside on your patio in a lovely spring day and you've got an hour to kill. So you pick up that book you've been meaning to read and you make yourself a cup of quiet journey of tea, and you enjoy some dandelion honey syrup, and your day is perfect. But no, that's quite good. I have bags of the quiet journey of tea in stock in my Etsy store. So I'll post my link as always to my video. And if you're interested in enjoying a quiet journey with your herbal tisane, try this. Now made with skullcap. Yay! All right, so the last portion of the video is always the tea and water breathing meditation. For those of you who are new to this, welcome. We're going to focus on our breathing. That's it. No chanting, no mantras, no clearing of the mind, but make sure that you have a cup of your favorite tea or a nice glass of water nearby. Find yourself in a comfortable position, either seated like me, laying down, or standing up. We're going to take 2 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, and then you can either close your eyes or softly focus on an object in front of you. We're going to breathe for a number of counts. If you find yourself getting caught up in a thought, it's all good. Just pause, tell yourself thinking, and then allow the thought to go on without you. It's going to keep happening, but just don't beat yourself up. Just pause, tell yourself thinking, and let it go by. Then once we're done, we're going to finish with another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then we're going to take a sip of our tea or water. So if you are ready, let's begin. And as we bring this breathing meditation to a close, take 1 deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes or allow your eyes to come back into focus and enjoy a nice sip of your tea or your water. So in that sip, I just noticed I got more of the dandelion from the honey and chamomile. Yeah, it's amazing how the flavors change. So that's all I have for today. Many thanks to Arapahoe Library District, Hugo Hamilton, the good folks that created American Wildflowers, a literary guide, to the wonderful people at Viridian Tea Company for their quiet journey of tea, and for the lovely, lovely woman who gave me a jar of dandelion honey syrup. I thank you so much for that. So that's all I have for today, and I just like to end with what I always say. Man, I really can't talk today, I swear. But take care of yourself and each other. Raise your teacup high, and always remember that to drink tea is to enjoy life. I will see you guys very soon. Bye for now. Maybe I can talk a little bit better next time around. Bye.